Yeah, really neat deal. We're going to add another name up there, and it's a great football player. It's well deserving. I don't think he got as much credit as he deserved when he was here, and I was lucky enough to be a part of that staff. We're going to add Dontrell Moore to the Ring of Honor. Between him and Bobby Santiago and Don Perkins, we've had some unbelievable running backs in this program, and he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I mean, Don Perkins was really dang good. Bobby Santiago was really dang good, and Dontrell Moore was really dang good. And now you all know my opinion on those things, and we're trying to honor the past and the present, and that's why we got Dion wearing Bobby Santiago's number, and I know I upset some people with that. And I get it, but I think the best way to honor those guys after talking to them is to talk about them more often and represent them. And just like Aaron Dumas is wearing Dontrell's number, we're going to put 22 up there on the building with it, with Moore. And Aaron and Dontrell actually had a great conversation in the preseason about what it means to represent him. And Dontrell is he's still unbelievable for this community, for our program. I enjoy listening to him on the radio broadcast. I enjoy talking to him before the game, after the game. He's still one of our players to me. And for him to be put up there forever is a really cool deal and very well earned and deserved. And there's going to be more that we celebrate because I think there's more great Lobos that belong up there. But we're gonna put him up there and honor him for the Colorado State game. So he'll be around a whole lot so that you guys can ask questions. But I'm super excited that we're putting Dontrell Moore up there. Eddie's really been good about honoring the past of our football program and coming up with ideas to do those things. And I've been pushing that one. There's some other ones that should come down the pipe too, but that's a really cool deal. It'll be his day. And congratulations to Dontrell. And I'm excited to be a part of it. Anybody question on that?
Dontrell will be here at this press conference next Tuesday.
Yeah, we can just wait.
Perfect.
Better,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Saturday night, that's on me and the coaching staff. We obviously tried to do way too much and didn't give our kids a chance to be successful. After grading the tape, I mean, we saw assignment mistakes on game day. And I talk about the things that kill us, the dead ball fouls that destroy us. I mean, we're not good enough to overcome those things when we shoot ourselves in the foot. But when we don't have our kids playing fast and we're making that many mistakes, that's because we didn't teach it good enough, we didn't coach it good enough, and we tried to do too much on paper to make them perfect. And that's our fault. So, I take full responsibility for our kids playing terrible on Saturday. We've got to do a better job of giving them a chance. And that's been the emphasis over the last 3 days. On defense, we had a hard time lining up for what we wanted to do. On paper, it looked great. But if you can't execute it, then it doesn't matter how good it looks. And when you have a triple option team that doesn't have to block two guys, it's even that much worse. And then on offense, we had the same issue. We've got way too many guys that are cutting guys loose, aren't firing off the ball. And if that's the case, that means they're thinking too much. That means we put too much on their plate. And I say it all the time that players win games and coaches lose games and coaches can screw them up, and we screwed them up. That's my fault. So we will fix that. I can promise you they won't be confused this Saturday. And we may not be good enough to beat the team we're playing, but it won't be because they're confused and we're making mistakes. You're going to see a football team that goes out there and plays hard and has an opportunity. Because we're playing a top 25 team that has the potential to be a top 15, top 10 team. I think right now they're the best team in our league. I told our team in the locker room on Saturday, the team that you're getting ready to play next week, a guy in this locker room built. And Coach Long started that process with Coach Hoke, who's currently the head coach, way back in 2009. And Coach Hoke left after 2 years, and Coach Long really got it going. And they won 3 conference championships in a 5-year period. They were the best team in the league. You had multiple years where they had the offense and defense and special teams player of the year all on the same team. Well, when you have that, you should win the league because that means you have the best players. And they were coached very well to play hard. And the image of what our program will look like is a lot of that. Now, some of those things have changed over the last 2 years since Coach Long has left. But if you watch them on tape, that hasn't changed. The aggressive attitude, how hard they play. Coach Hoke, who worked with Coach Long way back in the early 90s at Oregon State. He understands the philosophy and did a great job with his own career. Coach Hoke is a great football coach. He's a really, really good D-line coach, and he's been a really good head football coach. Did a great job at Ball State. Did a great job in his first 2 years at San Diego State. His first year at Michigan, they go to the Sugar Bowl, and he's well-traveled. He's a good friend of mine, and he'll keep that thing going. So we've got a great challenge ahead of us. We know a bunch of the kids on the other sideline. People have asked me if there's an emotional connection. There isn't. Now, all those kids that we recruited and coached, I love all those kids. I mean, that they will still be, when I'm done coaching and they're done playing, we'll be friends. That doesn't change with anybody you've coached. But there's a significant difference from when I was an assistant coach at San Diego State and we came to play the Lobos as there was when I was, as I am the head coach now, playing a team that I used to work for. San Diego was a great place for me and my family. My oldest kids went through middle school and high school there, and it was a great place to live, albeit very expensive, but it was a great place to live. But that's it. It was a great opportunity for me to move on in my career. So I've got zero emotional connection to them. When we played this game, it was miserable. All 3 times we played them, it was miserable. We won all 3, and it was a relief to win. And I can remember looking at Coach Long in the locker room over here across the street and having a terrible feeling after we won. Just I'm glad we won because that's the only reason you do this. But it wasn't any fun to watch the other guys with the Lobo helmets on not win because I rooted for them all the time when I wasn't here. So is there an emotional connection for that place? There's not. Is there incentive to beat them even more because Coach Hoke and I are friends and because Coach Long and I were there? For sure. Absolutely. That's human emotion. But you can also screw it up with human emotion by trying to do what we did last week, and that's trying to be so perfect and do so many things that you don't give your kids a chance. Well, that won't be the case this week. If we get beat this week, then we got beat by a better team. But I know our kids have the expectation to go in there and win and play hard and throw our hat in the ring and see what happens. So it'll be exciting to go up to Carson. I'm too bad we can't play in San Diego. I wish that stadium was done because it'll be a great opportunity, and then we won't play them for the next 2 years. But it'll be good to go over there and go against those guys. Go ahead, Brandon.
Keyshawn and Jordan, what's it been like watching those guys do what they've done at San Diego State?
Really awesome. Watching Jordan Bird on tape with the 100-yard kickoff return against Utah, and then watched him return punts and all the fly motions and things they do with them. Keyshawn Banks from Rio Rancho High School and Jordan was from Manzano. Keyshawn has really grown. Coach Howells was his head coach in high school. And those 2 guys are 2 of the best players on that team, New Mexico kids. And I'm taking credit for that because I worked my tail off to get those kids out there when I was there. I wish I wouldn't have done a good job when they were here. But they're a big part of that team. And that's what New Mexico kids deserve. They deserve opportunities. And we're going to give them an opportunity to play here. And if this ain't the best opportunity for them, then good luck to them. And that just happened to be the best opportunity. I convinced him it was. So I'm too bad we have to go against them because they're good players.
Yeah, as Bird, a guy you're going to be watching because when he doesn't get many carries or touches. When he does,
he might be the fastest guy in this league. And we've got a great league, so that says volumes. I mean, when he touches the ball on kickoff return, he's scary. He might be more dangerous than Anaya Smith from Texas A&M when he catches punts. We've got to hang the ball up and get around him because we can make him nervous. But when he catches it, he doesn't need much air. I mean, for all those that came to the 2019 New Mexico Bowl, he put on a show that day at tailback. So it shows you how explosive he is and how good of a player he is. What else?
Coach,
Sir.
if your team is playing its best, first of all, is your team capable of playing a great game?
Yeah, if we don't, I mean, they've got the right spirit and the right attitude. They want to be good. I think last week we screwed them up. We played really hard at times. When they know what to do, they can play hard. Now we're in the process of building a program. We're going to get out physical until we get bigger, faster, and stronger. We're going to get beat one-on-one. Eventually, we will win the majority of those matchups. We're not good enough yet.
Follow up. Is anybody in this league invincible
No.
to your Lobos?
Nope. No. If we play like we did Saturday, yes. We won't beat anybody. If we play like we did, if we can put our spurts where we have positive moments together, there's nobody left on our schedule that we can't compete with. But if we do what we did Saturday, we won't be – all the scores will look the same. And if that's the case, then we've coached them terrible because we don't have enough talent to overcome mistakes. We have enough talent to be competitive if they play hard and do everything right. And until we recruit over the next 3 years, we got some younger kids that are not ready to play, especially up front, that are going to be really, really good players in 2023 and 2024. And if they go out there right now and play, they're going to get beat up so bad we're going to spend 2 years trying to fix them. They need to get bigger, faster, and stronger in the weight room before they have an opportunity on the field. Now, there's a couple of them that are going to have to play. And the further you are away from the ball, the easier it is to play. Wide receivers and DBs, they can play day one. O-linemen and D-linemen, they have to be really special or mature to play day one. And that's where we're struggling right now.
How big is it getting those guys from COVID back into practice and getting them back into offense?
Oh, really? I mean, it's hard to prepare for guys. I mean, I thought Manny did a great job with very limited opportunity to prepare. He had a couple walkthroughs. So same with Andrew. Getting those guys for a full week will be very significant. Manny is nursing an injury that happened on the touchdown right there. We'll see if he's available at the end of the week. But Andrew, everybody else, Keontae was out there today. Andrew was out there today. It's really nice having those guys back. They help if they know what to do. Keontae can take the top off. He showed that in the first 2 games. We probably didn't have that the last 2 games. Luke has done a phenomenal job. He's battled through some injuries. For a true freshman, that's exactly the ones I'm talking about. The further you are away from the ball, you can play and make an impact. And those 2 kids have made an impact, so it'll be really nice having them back. Go ahead, Steve.
What's the injury for them?
Clavicle sternum area right there. We'll see. It's really sore. Landed funny. You saw him come off with his shoulder down.
There was a play where Terry had to come off because his helmet came off.
Mm-hmm.
Trey came in. Are we to think that Trey's the number 2? Is he back up again?
The more time that Trey spends at wide receiver, the less reps he'll get at quarterback. Trey is very smart and understands the offense and can come in with experience for a couple plays. If it was long term, we'd probably go with C.J. Montes for if he had to play out a full entire game, and then probably put Trey back at quarterback the next week and see which one prepares better or performs better during practice. But if we get Terry banged up for a couple plays, Trey can play quarterback, not a big deal. If it's for a longevity, then you probably have to go with the guy that's practiced nothing but quarterback. And Trey's going to practice all over because Trey reminds me of Marcus Goodlow. For all those people from around here that remember Marcus Goodlow from the early 90s. Was a quarterback from Compton, California, and was a great, really, really good athlete. Didn't win the job. Sony Case started to play quarterback. And so they moved Marcus Goodlow out to wide receiver. I text with Marcus quite a bit. And as a kid, he was one of my heroes because they talked about he's a backup quarterback, really good athlete, and they throw him out wide receiver and nobody can cover him. Trey's very similar to him, very good athlete. He's too good of an athlete to stand on the sideline, and he wants to play. He was a wide receiver and DB in high school, so we're going to put him out there and give him a chance. And that catch that he made down here in the touchdown catch was an unbelievable catch. Terry made a great throw because of where the DB was placed, and Trey torqued his body and made the catch, so we need to use him. So Nate Jones is on our football team. Nate Jones did not meet our expectation in the spring and the summer. So he was not a part of our football program in the weight room, in the classroom. What he had focus on was academics and doing everything that I expected him to do right. Nate Jones had to get himself eligible. And then Nate Jones has some work to do to earn back his opportunity to play football. Nate Jones understands what he has to do. And this semester, he has done a phenomenal job. But just like your own kids, if you give them structure and you give them discipline, and then you change your mind because they start acting right, they're going to act like little turds again real quick. And I don't believe in that. There's a lot of people out there that are probably frustrated because we're short in the running back room and we've got a great running back on our team that ain't playing. I don't care until he does everything that I've asked him to do. And he's doing a great job. I am so proud of Nate Jones right now for the attitude. He's on our scout team, and he does a phenomenal job of giving a look. On kickoff return, punt return. He's physical. He's getting better as a football player. But for his life and for the expectation of our program, it ain't the right thing. He needs to understand and go through the whole process and earn his way back, because he let down a lot of people. And he understands that, and he's doing everything right. And so I'm proud of him for that. But there's a criteria around here, and if people don't live to it, they ain't gonna be here. And so he's earning his way back. And so that's the story on Nate Jones. And I love the young man. He's done a great. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him for where he's at right now. But you ain't gonna see him on the field.
Offensive line, how you like their response into this weekend? How you feeling with them? Obviously, getting on them to perform.
Well, we're at a very fragile point with those guys, because I've challenged them. I thought we got out physicaled early on. We played physical in spurts. We have not played well at all the last 2 weeks. And so we're trying to evaluate who are the best 5. And you can only beat a guy down so much before they just throw in the towel. And that doesn't mean that we got guys that want to quit. It just means if you keep telling somebody that they're no good and they're getting their tail whooped, all of a sudden they start believing it, well, then you've done a very bad job of the psychological aspect of it. So we've got a group that is not performing to their expectation. They're not performing to the expectation of the last 2 games of the year. So the majority of that is our fault. We're either asking them to do too much, or we're trying to make them too perfect. And when you do that, they got no chance, because a kid that is not the most talented, that plays really, really aggressive and physical, can be plenty good enough. And you saw it in the last 2 games of last year. So we need to fix that to give them a chance. And that's been the biggest emphasis from our meeting on Sunday after we evaluated our last game.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how did you get to know Marcus Goodlaw? Because you were a kid, like you said, you were a kid when you played.
So, funny story. So I used to come out here. So back in the day, there used to be the big end and the big football player over here on the slide, and we used to slide down those things. As a kid, they'd let us go over there, just like we let people sit over here under the tree. We were down there one pregame, and they were throwing passes, and I slid down the thing, and he was right there, and I started screaming his name, wide-eyed little kid, excited. And he came over and said hi, and they were getting ready to play games, so he just gave me a high five, whatever. And from that point on, I just followed him around. Well, Chet Stewart, who Chet and Diana, who made a gigantic donation to our football program and our athletic department last year, Chet is like a second father to Marcus Goodlow, okay? He introduced me through him, and then we've been text messaging. When I got the job, he would send me congratulations texts and stuff like that. And then Chet got us together. He brought Marcus down here. And so Marcus is still back in Compton, California, and he does phenomenal things with kids. He's a big believer in his faith, and so we share that. And so we have a lot of common things to talk about. And he's been so unbelievably supportive in this journey to me. And for somebody that was a childhood hero, pretty cool, really neat. And so we text back and forth, and we're both Lobos, and we'll both be Lobos forever. I just happen to be the head football coach of a team that he used to play for, so we have a connection. And Marcus Goodlow is a special person. He's an unbelievable human being. He's an unbelievable Lobo. There's a chance that he's going to be able to do our chapel now we're doing different things through COVID and all that, so it might have to be over Zoom. But because we'll be down there close, I'm sure I'll bump into him. It's really, really cool. And he's a past Lobo, and those are the guys that we want to represent. I like Mark. I'm a big fan of Marcus Goodlow.
And because Bobby calls the set first half, is Aaron Dumas start?
Aaron Dumas will start. Bobby will get some reps. We'll obviously use Trey and Luke and those guys in the backfield to do some of those things. But those are the ones we'll roll with for the first half, and then the second half we'll get Bobby back and we'll keep going. That's probably why you asked about Nate. He ain't playing. And I know people will get upset around this town, but there's certain things that you have to do in order to build a program the right way, and that's one of them. If you start hinging on things, all of a sudden little things become big things. It's the details, the fine things that we mess up in games is no different than the details out there at practice, running from drill to drill, doing those things. As soon as you start slipping, everything starts to slip, and it's time to move on. So we're going to, and I say I talk a lot, and people will get tired of hearing me, and that's okay, because we're not a good football team right now, and I've not been shy about that. We're not. We have a long way to go to build this. When I took the job, it's going to be a 4 to 5 year process. And that 4 to 5 year process will be for championships. And if then we're not at that point, we're not, then they need to find another coach, because I want what's best for this place. I believe I know, and I believe I know how to build it. And if I'm not the right guy in 5 years, we'll know. What else? Awesome. I can't wait to play this game on Saturday. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Thank you. Go Lobos.